Hello Stampers, I'm Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards. Welcome, I'm glad you're here. So today I have a fun card using the Daisy Garden background stamp. And I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. So I'd like for you to stay with me because I'm going to make a card today using the background stamp. And I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can use this large background stamp to stamp. So today I'm going to use the stamparatus, but I'm also going to show you 2 other ways, if you do not have the stamparatus, how you can stamp without the stamparatus. And also, if this is your first time here, I'm glad you found me. And please subscribe by clicking that subscribe button. I'm trying to grow my channel, and I'm almost to 500 subscribers, so I'm excited about that. So let me turn the camera down and let's start stamping. So I'm going to be using this large background stamp, Daisy Garden, and it does not have any sentiments, so you can choose whatever you have in your own stash to use. And I am going to use Thank You from the Sweet Ice Cream stamp set. So I'm going to make a thank you card today. But you can make it, you can use any sentiments that you wanted. And it could be happy birthday or whatever it happens to be that you would like, the sentiment that you have. And all the dimensions for this card, I am going to send out on Monday in an email. So if you go over to my website at www.rusticbarncards.com, sign up for my newsletter. Just wait a few seconds and it'll be a pop-up. So sign up for my newsletter, and Monday's newsletter will be pictures and the dimensions for the card that I'm going to make today. So I just need 2 ink colors today, Granny Apple Green and Melon Mambo. So this is the large background stamp. And one way that you can stamp with it is just to use your Daisy Garden case, your stamp case. You can place this right on your stamp case. You can ink it up and you can stamp with it. The other way is that I sell the large block from Stampin' Up! In my store, and this is block F, and they have letters on the side of the blocks, and this is the largest block that you can purchase, and it fits this Daisy Garden stamp, fits the block just fine. So you can just lay it right here, ink up your stamp, and stamp this way. So those are 2 ways that you can use this large stamp. But today I'm going to use the stamparatus. And I really like the stamparatus. It has 2 plates, and I'm going to be using both of the plates today. And it has 2 magnets. Here's one, but on the back you have 2 places to store because you receive 2 magnets, and they're stored on the back. You do want to keep the magnets away from each other because they are very strong. And then I have this small grid paper, which I also sell in my store. And it comes in a pad, and it just fits perfectly in here. So there's this side, and then so it has 2 sides. Okay, so today I'm going to place my stamp. I'm going to place it about right here. Now, I don't have any cardstock down, and there's a reason for that. It's because I'm going to stamp off. But I will. So I'm going to kind of get my stamp kind of straight. And I am going to, and I can get it straight by using those grid lines. And then I'm just going to close my plate on my stamparatus and press down. And then I am ready to stamp, but I want to use my stamp case and put underneath my plate because it makes it easier. It gives you a little support when you ink up your stamp. And then I want this grid paper to stay in the right place. So I'm just going to lay my magnet right over here. And I'm going to be using Melon Mambo today. But again, I have several cards, 2 different designs to share with you at the end. And they're both similar, but a lot of different colors. So you're just going to take your ink pad and add ink this way. And just lightly. And then I'm going to stamp off. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And then I'm going to press, even pressure, so I have about the same amount of ink on the grid paper. And then you see the stamped image. So I'm going to bring in a basic white layer, and I can kind of decide, you know, I can put it up here if I want to make sure I have this flower on my cardstock. And I want to, I think I'll do it about right like that. And again, I have these grid lines so I can make sure that my cardstock is even. I'm going to kind of put that right there. And I already have ink on my stamp because I'm stamping off. And I'm just going to kind of, this is such a large stamp, so I'm just going to place it, slide it up a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to apply pressure. Again, try to do it evenly, make sure that but if you do not get it all inked up, you can add more ink if you need to. You can close this and apply more pressure. So I'm going to hang on to the grid paper and then with one hand, with one finger, and then I'm going to raise my plate up. And you can see that I did not get a good image right here and maybe down here in this leaf. So that means that I'm going to close this. And I'm just going to slide my magnet right now out of the way. And I'm going to put a little more pressure right here on this flower and down here on these leaves. And again, hang on to that grid paper, raise my, and it looks like right there, I still need a little bit more pressure. So I'll just close that and put a little more pressure there. And I could add more ink, but I don't need to. So I was able to pick, to do that with pressure. And I didn't want to add any more ink because when you add more ink, then it gets darker, and I wanted a lighter image. That's why we stamped off onto our grid paper and then stamped onto this. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink up our stamp again with the Melon Mambo, or Mambo, I guess, Melon Mambo. And then I'm going to bring in another piece of basic white cardstock. And of course, this isn't as large as the other one. So again, I can decide, by using this as a kind of a guide, what I want to have on this card. And I'm going to place it about right, I think I'm going to place it about right here. And bring in my magnet. And this time I do want full strength. And I'm going to move it up just a little bit. And I know that I'm not going to be able to get that magnet's kind of in the way, but I'm just going to go ahead and press here. And then I'm just going to move the magnet right there. Close this again and add pressure. Open it up. And I'm going to add it. There's just a little bit right over here in the corner that I want a little bit darker. So again, add that pressure. And it is finished. That magnet keeps us in place. So there we go. So I'm going to lay that aside. And then I'm going to bring in my chamois to clean my stamp. So we'll just clean that really quick. And then I'm going to bring in my other plate, because if I wanted to make multiples of this card, then I already have this stamp ready to go. So I'm going to bring in this plate, and maybe I can get it so you can see it. And then I'm just going to snap it in place. I already have the thank you. I'm going to turn it this way so you can see better. I already have the thank you stamp already on my plate. And I'm going to move my stamp case so I'm giving support to this, to the sentiment. I'm going to close up my one ink pad, and we're going to use the Granny Apple Green. Before I do that, I want to bring in a scrap of the Basic White, and I'm going to lay that right here. And so this is one way you can do it, or I could just, as I did before, lay my stamp here and then pick it up. And we'll get that straight. Okay, looks great. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink up. Thank you. Raise it up. And if I wanted a little bit darker, then I could just go ahead and add a little more ink. And we can stamp again and do pressure. And here we go. Now let's put our card together. So I'm going to bring in our card base, which is Basic White, and just going ahead and crease that a little bit better. And I have Melon Mambo, so I'm going to go ahead and we'll add this to our Basic White card base. Sometimes it's easier if I just open up the card and center it, and then press that down. And now I'm going to bring in the larger Basic White that we stamped off using the Daisy Garden stamp. And then I'm going to place this right on top of the Melon Mambo cardstock. And press that down. And then I'm going to bring in these two. This is the one the smaller Basic White that we stamped on, and we stamped full strength. So I'm going to add some ink to this and add this on our cardstock. And then I'm going to turn this over and add dimensionals. I'm going to add 9, but you probably could get by with one in the corner and then one in the middle. But if you're going to mail it, you want to make sure that it doesn't come off. So I know sometimes I get kind of carried away with my dimensionals, but I like them. And I think it adds to our card. Take those backings off. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe by clicking the subscribe button down below. I really appreciate it. And then I'm going to place this about right in the middle. That's the plan anyway. Okay. And then I'm going to get our sentiment, and I'm going to bring in a punch. So I'm bringing in the tailored tag punch, and this is in the annual catalog. And the stamp set, Daisy Garden, is also in our annual catalog. So I will just line this up. And of course, you can make this a thinking of you card, a birthday card. just depending on the sentiment that you choose. I'm going to add 3 dimensionals, 1 in each end, 1 in the middle of our sentiment. So again, this card is quick and easy, but I just really like, I think it's really a cute card. And we could place this down at the bottom. We could put it in the middle. But I think I'm going to put it down just a little bit. Now, it doesn't reach from this basic white to this. The tag isn't long enough to go from here to here, so you'll have a little bit on each side. So therefore, I would just kind of tip it up a little bit, put your finger there, and then, and you can see I'm going to have more over here, so I want to just move that over a little bit. There we go. Now let's add some embellishments, right? So I am going to bring in, I think, these holiday rhinestones, and I think, or maybe the basic jewels. I think I'll go with the basic jewels. I've been using the holiday rhinestones for several of these daisy garden cards that I have made, but I think I'll go ahead and I'm going to use 2 smaller ones right here in the corner. I'm going to add, then I'm going to use the larger one down here at the bottom. And then here is our card. Thank you. Now let me show you the other cards. So we have this card we made today. And here's a card using Pacific Point. And I did use the holiday rhinestone for the embellishments. And I moved this sentiment up a little bit more. Here's one in a bumblebee, and then I stamped in Granny Apple Green. Here I stamped in Blackberry Bliss with the Pacific Point. So I'd love to hear which is your favorite color, which is your favorite card. Here is one in Costa Cabana, and I used the pearls for the embellishments. And then I have basic black and cherry cobbler, and I use the black matte dots. Then the other 2 are just a little bit different. On this card, I used a different sentiment to someone who makes others happy, and I did not add that extra layer. And this is in Pacific Point. And then my last card, I used shaded spruce, and again, I did not add that extra layer where I did on the other 5 cards here. And I also made it into a thanks, but I used a different sentiment that I had for thanks. So which card do you like the best? Let me know. Before I go, though, I want to make sure that you're aware that celebration is going on and what that means. So celebration through the end of September, you can place an order for $50 from the annual catalog or the mini catalog or some for both, as long as it totals to $50 before tax and shipping. Then you qualify for choosing a free item out of its little celebration catalog. And there's stamp sets and designer series paper that you can choose from. So if you ordered $150, you could choose 3 $50 items out of the celebration, or you could choose, because we do have some items that qualify with a $100 purchase. So if you spent $150, you could do one $100 purchase and $150, or you could do 3 $50 items. Place a $50 item and you get a free item from the celebration catalog. If you do not have a catalog, then down below I have information how you can reach out to me, and I would be happy to send you a complimentary copy of the mini and the celebration catalog and the annual catalog. I also want you to know this is a perfect time if you like saving money and would like to buy your stamping products at a discount, a 20% discount. You can join my group of stampers. So for $99 and free shipping, you can choose $125 worth of product plus a free bundle, and that means a free stamp set and punch, or a free stamp set and dies. And there are 12 different punches, or excuse me, different stamp sets and either punches or dies that you can choose from. So there are 12 different bundles, and you can choose one free plus $125 worth of product and only pay $99 and free shipping. And for all your other orders after that, you'll save 20%. So you don't have to sell anything. I mean, if you want to, you could, but this is just a perfect way for you to receive your stamping products at a discount. So by joining my group of stampers. So you can call me at 641-680-9369 for any questions that you have, and or email me. So I hope you like this card. Again, I'm Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards. Please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.